All right. Destiny 2 Revenant Act 2 developer live stream. So, Act 2 obviously around the corner. We're going to react to this. I genuinely don't mind this episode. Almost called it a season. I mean, basically kind of is. But Act 1 went pretty strong. I mean, the dungeon was amazing and the activity was also really fun. I love Onslaught. So, I'm curious about the Prison of Elders-esque thing. I'm pretty sure they're going to be showing off. I know that Act 3, I believe, will be the exotic mission. Hopefully this one will also be very good. But right now, let's focus on Act 2. And let's see what they got. Let's see what you got. Oh, my God. Turn that down a little bit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's good to see all the Guardians. My name's Andy. I work here at Bungie on the social media team, and we're coming to you live here from beautiful Bungie HQ in Bellevue, Washington, with an awesome stream to go ahead and tell you a little bit about what's to come with Act 2 of Episode Revenant. But as usual, worry not. You're not going to just have to sit here and listen to me tell you all about it.
It'd also be very nice if they added, like, they were like, oh yeah, also more Onslaught maps.
Finer points about what we're going to be looking at today.
On top of everything else.
Without further ado, I vote
that
we
would be nice.
Just dive on into the stream and get this moving along.
Let's not put my hopes that high.
Starting with a man that you may know very well. If you've joined us for our Into the Light streams, you've seen him in action before and played his content as well during that time. Associate designer here at Bungie, Noah Lee. How's it going, Noah?
Yeah, great. Hey. Thanks for the introduction.
I'll never forget
I'm very excited to show off this Act 2 activity. I don't want to spoil too much. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited, so hopefully players will be excited too when we show it off.
Oh yeah, can't wait. But before that, for anyone who may not have met you in our past streams, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
You made Into the Light possible.
I, as an activity designer, you know, it's in the name. We make the activities that players play, and generally everything that players interact with when you load into an activity is something that activity design has touched, whether that be the enemies, the faction you fight, like the encounters.
You made the Cabal Ball spawn, didn't you?
All the way to the objectives and directives, and just general the activity flow.
Nice.
We care a lot about all that, and there's a wide amount of activity designers doing a wide amount of content.
Yeah.
I have the pleasure of being the Act 2 content for
very exciting. So not just Atlanta where the players play, but Destiny 2 as well.
Exactly.
That's a good sign.
Atlanta, right?
No, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. I was just trying to make a reference that aged me.
Activity designs have been pretty good.
Also, next to him as well, we're being joined for the first time by Associate Weapons Designer, the one and only Mr. Taylor Bjorndal. Taylor, how's it going today, man?
It's going great. Good to be here.
For those who may not have met you or don't follow you on Twitter or aren't in part of your raid group sitting right next to you, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, Taylor Bjorndal, Associate Web Designer. Been around at Bungie for quite a while, but somewhat new to design. This is my first release as designer.
Oh yeah, I know that we're supposed to get like a couple new weapons, but I wonder if we're gonna get like a whole mess of new weapons for this other activity.
And garden reprisals,
that'd be nice.
A bunch of exotic changes.
Wishful thinking. We'll see.
So thank you for all your hard work on the Splicer stuff.
And to remind myself, this is an episode, not
that needs no introduction. A friend to all Guardian kind.
And it's
we're still
Act
going
2.
to introduce him anyway. Global community lead here at Bungie, Mr. Dylan Gaffner. Dylan, how's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm awake.
Yeah, a bit of an early morning for us here today, huh?
Yeah, but it was a nice early morning. I'm excited for this. This is going to be a good show today.
No, man, and I'm very glad you're here. For those that may not already be following you on Twitter or haven't heckled you in the very same avenue for anything recently, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, I'm the guy that says we're listening. Ultimately, work with the community team, do a lot of the strategizing, looking at the forward-facing comms and all that, but then work with our community folks, our player support folks, and see what we can talk about when and work with these guys to get all the goods out and the comms straight. So.
Yeah. Huge shout out to your compatriots on the community team, to
and
Cosmo,
Sparrow Racing,
Bruno,
then, if you're
David.
listening.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Alex,
be nice. They put it in the mobile game.
Thank you. That's right.
My
Lest we
gosh.
forget. All right. So we have a lot of stuff to go ahead and move along into. I vote we go ahead and start with you, Noah. Before we dive into the gameplay, just very briefly, we're now about to arrive in Act 2 of Revenant. Can you tell us a little bit about Act 1 and what got us to where we are today?
Absolutely. So as players know,
we made drugs with Ido,
on Europa,
and we have no idea what happened after that.
Found paracausal echo, and he's able to make newly Revenant Scorn from living Elixni as opposed to dead Elixni.
Yeah.
So we went across the system, freeing Elixni from the onslaught. Onslaught of Scorn hordes and, you know, disrupting the Revenant Scorn nest all across the system. Now we're hot on Fickrel's trail, and we've found our way back to the reef. So, some Destiny players that maybe have a longer tenure might have an idea of what
us old
might
people?
be interested in terms of
Did he
we
say
found
the reef?
Very interesting, which
I
I will say
remember that
very
place.
conveniently, excellent segue, thank you, leads us to our first batch of gameplay.
Exactly.
For, again, the Destiny vets out there, the Destiny 1 players who may be still with us as well, myself included, we are returning to an activity that's been reprised from the Destiny 1 days.
Absolutely.
Noah, can you tell us what we're getting into here?
You said returning. I'd like to say this activity was reimagined.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the Prison of Elders from Destiny 1, this is now a Tomb of Elders. This activity specifically is Contest of Elders, actually. Now, I'm going to want the fire team to hold up a little bit because I want to describe it a little bit for the audience.
Contest of Elders.
So if those who are familiar with things like Deep Dives or The Coil and Revenant's Lair from Season 23, this is a similar kind of activity where it's a longer tail, more roguelite activity.
Ooh.
One of our design tenets was we wanted to make it as variable as possible. And we'll go into a lot of what makes it as variable as it is. But in general, it follows a lot of the beats from Prison of Elders and Destiny 1, which is you go to arenas, complete encounters, and all this while the spooky, scary warden is kind of in your ear, kind of egging you on.
Yeah.
Instead of it being Varix, it's the warden servitor.
Yeah.
And
How did it come back?
players are trying to placate this warden
I thought we
rather
blew
than
up the warden servitor.
rebel against him. So
Yeah.
the more you do that he says, you'll actually get more loot, and we'll go into that a little bit more in the future.
Excellent. A lot of chances to
I
test out your
like that
Varix
idea
impressions,
that
I'm
it's
sure.
like
yeah.
deep
We'll
dives.
hear a
Oh
little.
yeah, give it time. We'll get there, absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off. So with this, was it basically just bringing back kind of the activity from Destiny 1, same races, same bosses and everything, or what were you guys
Absolutely
trying to
not.
do?
We wanted to. I think the key that I was really excited about was I had a rule which was we want to keep the best parts of Prison of Elders that people love, the most iconic aspects. So things
Dismantle
like
mines?
Dismantle mines.
Yeah.
We might have some fan favorite taken bosses and other bosses that people remember.
Dismantle
But
mines.
the main
Oh,
thing
fan
was being able
favorite.
to modernize it to
That
not
one
only the
blueberry
new
that won't
Destiny
go to the
sandbox that we have,
mines.
but just the new vibe. We're in a vampire hunter
Also,
season.
Yes.
Why not
Is
go
it
back
very
to the daily
convenient
Prison
that they're
of Elders
using
and hunt more
anarchy?
vampires?
Are we getting a
like you
mass
said
war?
about factions. In the old Prison of
Catalyst,
Elders, it
I
was
mean?
the Fallen, the Cabal, the Hive, the Vex.
Okay.
We don't have the Vex anymore. It's the Dread now, being led by some Taken forces.
Very cool.
Instead of the regular Cabal, we have the Shadow Legion. Instead of normal Hive, we have the Lucent Hive, and we have the Revenant Scorn instead of the Fallen. So we kind of changed up all the races, and you'll be able to see it. It's really apparent when you go to their arenas since they're all themed based on the races.
Yeah. So I'm going to bug you about bosses soon, but can you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing here, whether it's the modifiers or anything like that? I noticed there's obviously a lot of chances to test your skill here against the modifiers.
Yeah, I saw a modifier. I couldn't really read the whole thing quick enough.
For those who are familiar with the Legacy Prison of Elders, there were a bunch of modifiers that were on a rotation. Some were kind of beneficial, like Solar Burn, where it was like the enemies give you damage, but you can kind of deal some.
Yeah.
In this, all of them are not beneficial to you. And actually, as a quick segue, we saw Urox there. He was an old Destiny 1 Prison of Elders boss, a Legacy boss.
Yeah.
And he's come back as a Lucent Hive Guardian, and we had some other few bosses who have come back from the grave.
Yeah. I mean, given that he's no longer just a Hive Knight, he's got both the big shields and everything. He's ready to go ahead and be brought back with the power of the light.
And as we just
some
saw,
new
we
challenges.
have some UI too that we were able to bring back from the Legacy Prison of Elders. Every time you get a new modifier, it appears on the screen in the middle of the screen, and you're able to be like, oh, it's Chill Touch or it's Counterfeit.
Yeah.
But we have some of the new modifiers that were in episode
Oh yeah, because they
Revenant
did do that
are
in
in here.
Prison
We
of
got
Elders. I
Counterfeit.
forgot about that.
We got Haste, we got Brawn, if people have had experience with that, and a few other things like Chill Touch, Scrapper, Grounded, a a few other things.
Oh God! Don't jump into Prison of Elders.
Yeah, opportunities to run around, grab your ammo, and then turn out it's a bomb. Oops.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite perks, actually.
That never happens to me all the time. No. All right.
It's really nice that it pops
Chill
up.
touch.
Yeah,
Yep, being meleeed.
Yeah, I want to shout out.
Slows it.
I want
Ooh.
to shout out our engineering team for being able to bring this in, and our UI team for kind of everyone came together and had a strike force that was
spider
doing this thing.
tank?
It was no small feat, but I'm glad it works. As we intended
Yeah.
it to.
No, we appreciate it. As someone who intends to spend a ridiculous amount of time in here, thank you.
We're
And
collecting
here's for your hard
tubes.
work.
Yeah, there's a spider tank.
So I kind of wanted to talk about one more thing in terms of how this activity is structured.
Yeah.
I'd say it's very close to Riven's Lair. For those who remember, Riven's Lair, you kind of had a trap room, then an encounter, then another trap room, then a boss. In this, it's slightly more action focused. So we have, as we saw, that cryopod encounter first, Then you'll have a faction encounter. It'll take you to a random arena
Ooh.
throughout the prison. It's still shaped like the spokes, like in the original Prison of Elders. Then you'll have a short traversal section, and then you'll have a boss. And then after that, you will get pulled into the warden's office and get your loot, and then you'll run around the loop again.
Yeah.
In every single encounter, you're going to have a challenge, and for bosses specifically, you're going to have a critical objective. And that kind of all goes into like this in-activity reputation system that's called the Warden's Judgment. When you read the rules, for all my players who like to read, you can see what that is, but I know people don't read, so I'm going to try to explain it the best I can.
Why were you staring right at me when you said that? That's so weird.
I don't read.
That's okay. All right,
I literally will look at it and I'll be like,
I'll figure.
Launch.
Yeah.
So the Warden's Judgment is a pretty simple but kind of complicated mechanic we have that's meant to address some of the feedback that we've gotten from the coil specifically. So for those who are very experienced with that activity, people were very much questioning how do you get to the wish chamber, like how many wishing glass you need to get, like if you felt like you didn't get the loot goblin, you're like, oh, I didn't get
all
the
over the
wish
place.
chamber. We found out statistically that most people had already surpassed the threshold they need to get to the wish chamber, but it just missing out things felt bad, and it initially kind of like hampers your desire to keep going because you might be like, well, I don't want to get to the very end and see if I didn't get to it.
Right. Yeah.
So to address that, the Warden's Judgment is kind of like a inactivity way to check how well you're doing. There will be a buff on the top of your screen, then it'll kind of dictate how well you're doing. So when you complete a challenge or a bonus objective, your Warden's Judgment will increase. It can get all the way up to favor times 1 to 3. If you do not complete the objective within the time limit, you will go down a level. And if you're in Warden's Punishment, the activity gets a little bit easier. We have less elites, less mini bosses, and our high value targets that are called model prisoners will be elites, and they give you a revive token on death.
Okay.
But the better you do, we have more things that are going to try to hamper you. We'll have traps in the arena. We'll have
that sounds awesome,
increased mini bosses, and when you're at favor times 3, the ultimate test, because you want to stay at that the whole time for max rewards. Your bonus objective time limits will be reduced by around 30%.
Okay.
So some things may take, maybe you have 2.5 minutes to complete something, and then it becomes 2 minutes. Or you have a minute and 30 seconds, and maybe it becomes just a minute. It gets a little bit tougher. Exactly.
First prisoner.
That's kind of the core that makes it cool.
Reach the exit.
People will say
Gets
that
freedom.
these kind of take a long time. Sometimes you have 40, 50, maybe 60-minute activities. The better you do, the warden can actually allow you to skip an encounter.
So this is the running one. Oh gosh. Well, I don't see any spike traps. That's a plus.
30 minutes, and that's when
like
you're going
freaking Ribbon's lair.
Rewards. So this is kind of promoting like maybe you'll get bad luck and have some bad encounters. But the more you run it, you'll get more experience. You'll understand kind of how the flow is, and you'll be able to get a lot of rewards really fast and kind of experience the whole Prison of Elders in this new light.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Build into it a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, to the community, what was that again? 28 minutes, you said?
28.
All right. When it comes out next week, the issue
They'll
has been
blow past
challenged.
that. They'll blow past.
No, I'm sure, but still, it's best to issue a
Wait for the
challenge.
solo run. Too.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
you
oh, I
get
did this.
Counterfeit. Oh no.
28
It's
minutes,
in here.
I will give you a title that I bestowed of very few people. You will be that guy. And I will at you on Twitter or something.
That's all right.
Not in game.
counterfeit one.
Not in game. Not in game.
Yeah,
Not in
this
game.
is just like a imaginary title.
Yeah,
We'll-
I made that.
I'm really liking
They'll say it on
the
Twitter.
environments.
We'll give you a shout out on Twitter.
And I like how they said
But
that it's
so
gonna be like
tonight's kind of an
random.
opportunity to sort of, I
I hope that they
if
have
you're learning the
enough
activities,
variety.
Kind of just, getting beaten down
I
a
was
little bit.
disappointed about that with the Ribbons one, where it's like it just kind of
the mechanics in
stopped
place. That way, as you kind of build
having
yourself up to
variety,
higher
especially in the
warden's
running
favor,
parts.
There
Fire 2
are
is actually showing one of my favorite features.
Please.
We tried to give every boss a cool intro. So this boss descends in from a thresher from the ceiling.
Commander's
So,
Thresher. Oh my
every
gosh.
enemy race has their own kind of mechanic. So the Hive, generally their mechanics revolve around portals in the arena. The Cabal are all about getting these explosive charges and blowing up things that are like immune.
I heard that exotic
We'll see
engram.
the
It's
Dreads
not
in a
real.
second,
Don't fall
the
for it.
Scorns are about like getting these explosive canisters and kind of making a makeshift explosive. Internally, I like to call it the junkyard fantasy because like it's kind of like all junky and rusted and stuff.
tinkering and putting it together.
Yeah, you put it together, and then it makes this really cool. Shout out Mikola for doing this. He also made Liminality Strike, so shout out to him. He made a really cool thing where like you see the explosion trail like kind of get to the big explosive.
Like a fuse.
Yeah, it's so cool.
No, I have to ask, why did it have to be a Thresher? Because I'm having some memories from Neo Muna. This is scaring me already.
Well, Threshers are cool, and it's just, it's cool to have different boss silhouettes in Destiny. We don't often actually fight a Thresher as a boss, and the Thresher's not even the true boss, as we see
Of course.
a Scion and his Scion goons are the actual main bosses for this fleet. So it's like kind of the quasi mechanic
Scion
there where it's
Begoon.
like, you know, you start off, you gotta kill the Thresher, and then it's gone. We got like one of those Russian dolls, and a bunch of Scions pop out, and you gotta deal with them now.
I imagine just that the unstoppable Thresher meme basically just popping up again, right? Yeah. So I mean, I gotta ask as well. Like, this is an opportunity to kind of bring back this activity from Destiny 1 to kind of look at what was best about it.
We got something actually cool to show right here. Also.
Please, dive in.
So players are probably very much like, why is the screen green?
Fair.
So
It's
critical
gas.
objectives
Someone
have
farted
been
in the chamber.
massively increased
Secret.
in like complexity, I believe.
Yeah.
So every time a boss starts, there's just a timer ticking down that we're not showing you, and then a critical objective will spawn. If you complete them or fail them, your Warden's Judgment will react accordingly. But what we ask you to do for these critical objectives are much more dangerous than like our normal stuff, which is like maybe get kills with abilities, get kills with the Scorch Cannon. This one is a certain level and below, all of it will be poison gas that does damage to you over time.
Yeah.
And the only way to turn it off is you have to
Go into stinky.
turn off the switches that are also in the poison gas. So the Warden servitor will be like, warning, poison gas, or whatever. And when you come in, and it's like, oh,
Dismantle mines.
That's
all the time.
Yeah.
I've been at home just like by myself, just doing a Varix impression, like.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
That's how I'm going to talk about that explicitly
Exactly.
now. I can just tell.
I think he'll get a little scared though.
It's okay.
Barry.
He has to exist around me anyway. He's well prepared.
I just think of insects.
Just sad that
chattering
Varix
in
is
the
not
subtitles.
well, I mean, it's
That's all I got
Varix's
in my brain.
voice
Chittering,
as the Warden,
chattering,
but I wish that
no,
like
it's-
Varix
And
was
we
also
see
like,
the Warden's,
talking to
office,
us.
So that's what that's not what it's
Was that
called.
a
but that's
vending
what I call
machine
it,
emo?
yeah.
Excuse me?
Every time you complete a boss, you will get pulled to this chamber where the Warden will reward you based on how well you've done. This fire team has done very well, so they get 3 chests, and you get a rally banner that allows you to like,
where's the
kind of,
weapon?
refresh your super and ammo and stuff
Yeah.
before the next round.
Yeah.
And as we saw, we have like Judgment, Calculating,
Oh,
Punishment,
is that
Protocol,
Street
Averted.
Fighter emo?
If you're in the Warden's Punishment while he's judging you in this like kind of Monopoly style like mini game. Because
I heard about that. We're gonna have,
but I think it'll be very smart. But as we see, they were able to skip the cryopod encounter. If you were like at a neutral or below, you would have to do that cryopod encounter again. But our fire team is good enough to skip it. So if you keep that momentum, you're able to skip that encounter every single time and kind of
It's
go through
got
it pretty
the
much faster than you would.
Throne
normally.
World environment.
All right, really quickly. Also, please feel free to keep jumping back in. I know there's a lot of stuff we're going to be checking out. But Taylor, I want to quickly bug you. With the arrival of Act 2, we're going to have a few new weapons being added to the overall loot pool. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the new Act weapons, rather, that we're going to be having available to us?
Yeah, sure. So we have like 2 new seasonal weapons or act weapons.
Got the SMG and the shotgun.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's
SMG and a
Arc
shotgun.
Precision SMG, and then there's a
Attrition orbs, right?
attrition orb. Yeah, it's got a bunch of perk rolls on it, which we'll get to in a second, and then a Void Precision shotgun, which has some Dust Rock blue jeans. If you,
Very nice.
yeah,
You said this. You said the one
we'll
word
probably see
that
them
shotgun
on the
users will lose their minds. Now,
yeah.
the resemblance is uncanny.
fixed snipers.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool rolls for both of these, both for PvE and
Yeah,
PvP.
let's take a quick look.
So this one's got the
Oh
new
my
arc
gosh.
perk, Jolting
Yeah,
Feedback.
this I can't wait for this.
It's also got
Attrition
loose
orbs is on the
change, attrition
first
orbs,
column.
and a few other things that really
so
synergize pretty well. You can get like the jolt on and then loose change procs.
Yeah.
And it just loops into itself.
Yeah.
And then the shotgun, it's got a bunch of rolls both for PvE.
Oh my gosh.
PvP.
It literally is Dust
You
Rock
get
Blues,
slide shot
like in its
closing
design,
time,
like
you
underneath.
get Discord
under the hood.
destabilizing rounds, and with the shotgun changes that we did in this
Yeah.
release, it will probably serve you pretty well.
Yeah.
This is-
Having dusted off my 7th Seraph CQC, I want to say thank you
Ooh, it's
for those
classic.
changes, honestly. Yeah, never gets old.
It's nice how such a small change can actually make a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Especially
Get
when it's
wrecked.
not even more damage.
Yeah. Also, with regard to the new shotgun, obviously
That would be
PvP,
me.
or PvE rather. is
Probably
gonna
a
get
bunch.
Some nice buffs. You were saying the repulsor brace,
Especially if
both hell
there's no
rounds,
jumping in
except
Prison of
those.
Elders.
But at any rate, there was a PvP role you were talking about earlier as well. Like, it's going to have a lot of versatility in the same.
Oh yeah,
box.
it's got a lot of rolls and it's precision frames, so I know it's like the most popular.
I'm gonna
right
guess
now
they're gonna
for
allow
PvP.
us to get double
Yeah,
perks in
it
this
gets
one
killed
as
by those a
well.
lot
I
these
hope
days.
so.
So in
should-
addition to
we should
these
be able to
two
get triple
new act
perks.
weapons getting added to the pool, there's also one of the reprised ones as well that I'm personally pretty excited about from Season of the Splicer coming back, Grid Skipper.
Yes.
Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot that that's also gonna be now added.
Yeah, I have a very personal connection to this gun, so it was like one of my favorite things. I actually helped work on the original set of these when they first came out. But I did the rolls on these.
Let's take a quick
It's
look.
got some classics from the past, but also some new roles. Also, it's got a lot of options for both PvE and PvP. Get some Zen Moment Headseeker for PvP, probably pretty nice.
That's what I'm going to be going for.
My original classic role was Killing Wind multi-kill clip, which with the new Splice Origin will work pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm a compulsive reloader myself, so manning the pulse and getting that Splicer Surge going after a couple kills, it pretty much like negates the major downside of the rapid fire pulses of being like pretty low handling and reload baseline.
That was the role you talked about in the TWID, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Of all the people, you chose the legendary weapon instead.
Yeah. So
for
with the
context,
past, talking about if you could have one weapon made a replica, what would you want? A bunch of other people said exotic, and I was the guy that said grid skipper.
I mean, it's a great answer.
Correct choice.
Yeah.
There's no wrong
Great
choice.
choice.
Yours was
Ranking.
very correct. Let's be very clear.
A couple new PvE roles as well. But,
Yeah.
there's a lot to look forward to. I'm going to be grinding this a lot.
Yeah.
I want to interject real quick because we were at a good time.
Yeah.
So this is the fire team went through it earlier, but this is a traversal section.
Yeah,
so
I noticed
these are different
that.
than how they were in the coil. I also want to shout out every player who died to my spike traps in the coil.
You!
I did that on purpose.
How dare
I don't
you.
feel bad.
There's a lot of grudges being built in chat right now in real time. It's,
Yeah, I don't feel bad.
You're like an evil DM.
You
honestly.
did it.
It's fun.
You
I-
guaranteed you
not
added the
fun.
cabal
It was
balls
like
to the
2 a.m.
onslaught.
and it's me screaming at my ceiling, Noah, why did you do that?
Exactly.
He
I
just-
see all the comments and I'm like,
He just smiles. Yeah, he just feels bad. Warms up his coffee. Yeah.
these are these are much shorter than they were in the coil, but their goal is in Contest of Elders specifically, not Tomb of Elders, which is like one lap.
Yeah.
These have their own challenges that players have to complete. So for this one, it was kill every enemy, defeat every enemy that's there. There are some that's like
Whoa.
collect a bunch of like fallen lights. I can't remember what they're
Like I
called.
said, I'm just liking the
like
the
energy
aesthetic.
signals, or like defeat a boss within a certain amount of time. So it's just more things to kind of challenge you and make these
Oh, that's a big blight. What's inside?
like transitionary spaces a little bit more interesting. And so we have like the piece de resistance right here. My son, everyone will be very excited to see this. This is one of my favorite intros.
The grand reveal. Yeah, let's see
Exactly.
here. And you were saying the Dread and the Taken are working together. This one, right?
I'd say
Oh.
that the Taken are kind of taking the helm of
knew
the
it.
Dread right now,
Why?
not because like they're stronger or anything, but
Psylocke.
because like
It defiled. It didn't sound like the warden said it loud enough.
honestly.
He's he was a model inmate.
Yeah.
So
Oh
they were
my
like
gosh.
we're asking from the best. All the warden liked him.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. He was always available for work after hours. He was hanging out in the library, reading
Exactly.
up on the law, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing his
Yeah.
Yeah.
community service, all the works.
So what's the mechanic we're seeing at play here as well, by the
So
way?
this mechanic is a bad pun. So for everyone who loves Rift or really has even played Excision, instead of Spark Runner buff, it is Dark Runner, where you're picking up splinters. You're picking up darkness splinters that give
Whoa.
you stacks of Dark Runner up to like times
My
3, where it'll
gosh.
say like Dark Runner
Does he
max.
still
Then you
like
dunk them
make
in
the
a Rift.
floor on
And,
fire? It looks like that. It
it
still
changes
makes the
based on
floor
like
on
the encounter.
fire.
For the normal Dread encounter, does something different. But in this, Psylocke will have a
another,
shield.
Different objective. It's happening right now too.
Oh yeah, we got the Rifleman is a critical objective, and the thing with that is there will be clones of the Rifleman that spawn around the arena.
Yeah.
You have to find the real one, but the clone's damage is real too. So
Yeah.
you got to make sure that you're not in their line of sight.
Yeah.
All these critical objectives are meant to be pretty tough.
Yeah, they're not supposed to go easy on you.
Yeah. I mean, they're critical.
I'm allergic to
It's not the same about
Psylocke.
Elders, it's the
Sorry.
tomb,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I didn't take my allergy meds.
Dynamic all this is too, because even like through our practice runs and all that, we've seen a bunch of different modifiers and different objectives
Yeah.
pop up.
This is if I was to describe what design's goal was for this in one word,
Yeah.
it would be variable. There's so much that can change from a given run. Is really trying to embody roguelite to like its fullest. You'll have different pathways every
Yeah.
time, which is like you'll go to different cell blocks in different orders.
Yeah.
You'll have different objectives that'll pop up, different critical objectives, and you'll have different modifiers and like all this stuff. And based on how well you do, the dynamic, like enemies are harder or easier based on how well you do. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I hope players can I'm looking at Dado and Astacross, make a good guide for this.
Yeah.
Because this is a big one. But
Yeah.
I think that the more people play, they'll kind of understand the mode
Yeah.
a lot more. And there's a lot to offer, I think. And
Which is
we're
good.
not going to show the
Very
treasure
good.
chamber, unfortunately, but that's kind of the whole thesis. We want everyone to get to that treasure chamber and
Yeah.
feel like however they played, they can get paid out based on how well they did.
Definitely.
And my goal was, even if you're at the worst level, if you're at Warden's punishment times 3. You're able to get to the max rewards in 1 lap.
Yeah. Just might take you a little bit longer.
Yeah,
might
you
be
just
a
have
little
to
bit
be
more
kind of
stress.
dialed in.
Yeah.
It'll be the phrasing of like, oh, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Exactly.
You got to earn these
You got to
rewards.
say it in Eric's voice, though, too.
Oh, I'm not.
Right, we'll get
Warden
back to
has so many
He's,
lines. I want to shout
no.
out Olivia on narrative for writing all the lines.
Yeah.
He has, I think, like, I don't even know. I'm not going to, like, make a number up right now. But he has a bunch, and they
lot, yeah.
range from being, I'm very proud of you, to, like, come on, man, you got to do a little better than that.
Yeah,
it kind of
honestly.
pushes you to kind of just want to make him proud.
Yeah,
because
he's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan is the father here. He's used to saying that to me.
I don't use the slang like you do.
That's it. I mean, I got that Skibbity Ohio riz, unfortunately.
Wow.
But
Oh my god.
moving right along. Actually, while we have a second here, Taylor, I wanted to go ahead back to you.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got some new artifact mods joining
Oh,
this time around as well.
yeah.
Do you
Please
mind,
be
if we take a
something
look, kind of walk
good.
through and see what we got here.
Yeah. So we've got like the last
What is it?
episode. Sorry. We have a new row unlocking in Act 2.
Okay.
These are all close quarters themed. So
Yeah.
we've got a discount for all your melee mods.
Titan Punch?
An improvement to emergency reinforcements, which I think is like you get a heal when you're low health.
Ooh.
We've got a way to get armor charge while you're surrounded. Boost there gives you more weapon handling and charge rate for swords.
That's
Boost comes
good.
from tonics, right?
Yeah. So there'll be new tonics.
Nice.
This, I think, is a variant of one of the older mods that is when you break a combatant shield, you get an orb of power. And then the boost on this actually is going to be really nice, which is picking up an orb of power or elemental pickup or tangle gives you a bit of health, which
Oh,
kind
nice.
of replicates the leg armor mods, which you can like run both, or this can free you up a slot with that. I know like I'm running Stasis Hunter with the new helmet, and that's
Yeah.
going to be pretty good for that.
Yeah.
And also just for staying alive and
Yeah.
this activity since it's kind of spicy.
Someone who's been a very punchy punch hunter these days with my Rorschach build, as I call it.
What is the
yeah,
last one, though?
there's a lot of mods in this row that I'm really looking forward to having.
Tomb of Elders activities are very
Arc source
claustrophobic.
of steel,
I think
damn it.
shotguns in close range is definitely going
Oh.
to be king here.
What's the buzzword? Enemy density.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah, but
density and
I
destiny
wonder if that will
is-
stack.
And then arc compounding, which I
With,
believe
like,
was,
weaken and stuff
maybe
like
an older
that.
artifact, which is arc sources deal more damage to blinded targets, which might actually pair really well with the changes that got done to Exteris, since the moths there will be
That's right.
blind to blind for yourself, and then also it's a grenade launcher, so it kind of gets the double dip with all the grenade launcher in this.
I
And to that
forgot.
end
I
as well,
really
quickly
wanted
for
to
anyone who
mess
may
with
not read through
that,
every
like
patch note
again.
necessarily. Quick
Like mess
update.
with
What
the build
were
with
the
that.
changes you guys
I
made
guess
to
there's
Exteris?
the
Yeah, we
time.
did some QL stuff.
What
get a
was
little
that,
bit more
armor, by the
ammo, but
way?
The main thing was
I just
flattening out
realized
the
that. I was, like, not
projectile
even focusing
behavior
on,
a
like,
bit,
the armor. What?
It goes to a little bit higher velocity, less gravity, so you can more easily hit stuff.
I think
in
that's, like,
range.
the,
And then if you
Eververse
get
one,
multiple direct
the
hits
other one.
quickly, you
I can't
also
remember what
get
it's
them
called.
off in the same way that you would on
Anime
Kill
one or
Trigger, so
whatever.
that scale into some higher difficulty content a bit easier, and it does some work if you have like one big target to just lay into.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get back to some gameplay here in a second, but really quickly before we move on as well, we were talking before the show, there are some changes happening to roaming supers as well.
Yeah. So you may have seen earlier we had our Warlock here on Stasis Lock, but
What?
one of the things
Oh,
we're
yeah,
doing in this Act 2 patch is we're buffing all the roaming supers. So for context, that's like your Storm Trance, Vista Havoc, where you're in the super for a while, versus the one-shot supers like Nova Bomb, Tether, etc. We're making
So Stasis
changes
Warlock
that
will
the
actually be
damage
very
based
good now?
chargers, specifically in PvE.
Right, yes,
Specifically
only in PvE.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be charged like through active combat. You'll be charging the roaming supers, but like 2 to 3 times faster than normal.
Yeah.
So it's like a pretty big swing with the kind of the idea that you want to move these a little bit closer to your neutral game.
Yeah.
Or something you feel more comfortable popping like on cooldown.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you need to keep it for when you kind of need it. You can use it pretty actively because you can get it back ready. Like relatively quickly.
Yeah, you used the I think a great analogy earlier of like it's not the hyper potion in your backpack you hold on to forever because you needed
we
that
want to
boss
try
fight.
and break
Just
that habit.
use-
We understand it's a hard habit to kick.
as someone again who uses the super basically only in the final phase of any boss fight.
Yep.
Get
Yeah.
it, so.
It's years and years of Destiny have trained me very well to do that too. So it was interesting seeing in playtests because it took people a bit to kind of adapt to it, but once we got used to how quickly they were coming back, it was like a lot of fun because it opens up a lot more things too. Because like now there's a bunch of exotics that are tied to roaming supers that are kind of just instantly more valuable without needing to change a whole lot of stuff.
Totally.
So it
Well,
shakes things up.
that's nice.
Get some,
You know.
some options.
Yeah.
Roaming
Sounds
Super's
enticing for,
actually
Onslaught,
in that
Coil,
nice
2L.
Yeah,
buff.
like,
not
I guess
in
where
PvP,
you-
thankfully,
like-
because oh my gosh.
The objective is speed.
Yeah.
versus just like burst damage or something.
Right. Yeah, and just upping that
some
versatility
interesting
factor,
options.
honestly, of all
Yeah,
of you know?
yeah, just bringing some other stuff kind of back in the limelight.
Yeah, no, very excited. The build crafters out there in the audience, you've got your work cut out for you now. Go ahead and start
Hooray.
adjusting those variables in your various spreadsheets and everything.
I was about to say the same thing. When
Yeah.
you see the spreadsheets, when I eat lunch, I sometimes just put
Yeah.
on a video and I'm like, let me see what the meta is.
Yeah.
care about.
Dear Mactix, tell me what my build is today. Yeah, no.
Then you
thank
have Bjorndal internally, where it's like, what's my meta going to be in a month? What should I start saving now?
Yeah,
I will admit, I had also, when I got a sneak peek at Alethanim, I went home that day and built like a stasis loadout just in preparation for it, more or less. The stand-in was I can't remember the name of it. At any rate, but the exotic scout rifle
oh wait,
With a shroud?
Demon's or
from Season of the Deep.
Wicked Emblem.
Thank you.
Or Wicked
There we
Inlet
go.
with her
This is,
trout. What am
sorry,
I?
I
Am I smelling
my brain a
toast?
bit.
What is going on?
There's only one scout
Even
rifle
I
in
am
my
like,
brain,
what?
it's just the
Huh?
dead
What
man's
is it?
tail.
I haven't
That's why
used
we were
it.
just talking about that
I
earlier.
mean, maybe I
Like
should
that.
actually like use it for once.
All right, so
After all
we've,
these
we've
buffs and
obviously got
everything.
a lot of great stuff arriving with the season in terms of the activity and weapons. But Dylan, I want to turn my attention solely to you. In addition to the cool content being added, you've got some notes prepared, I see. We've got some cool stuff to go ahead.
Have notes.
There it is. All right, everyone, get your memes going. We
sorry,
have got
Dano.
some cool stuff arriving in the form of. Let's go ahead and start from the top. We're doing a partnership with Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the cool stuff that we're going to have available through that partnership?
Maybe.
All right. Well, what if I ask? Please, may you tell us?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
there we go. All
so
right.
you've seen a few things through gameplay. We have a bunch of cosmetics. Like the first thing you can see here is a wonderful set of ghosts. So we got your Cammy Ryu, your Chun-Li. I wouldn't want my ghost to get into a fist fight with with any of the bosses really, but that one looks like they could take.
The Ryu
him on,
one's
right?
pretty swole, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch every face of the witness.
There's a lot. So you better
It's
get to work.
pay to win, by the
And
way.
then,
That
one of our
ghost will
players
actually
has
punch
been
enemies
running
when it
around
gets
with
close.
a Blanca helmet, which is so it's not one class that gets this. It's going to be a universal ornament. The helmet goes on all characters, Hunter, Titan, Warlock, which is going to be great. And then with the roaming super changes, like you can throw on your Titan Arc Super, you could throw on Storm Trance, and go and kind of role play with some of that electricity, right?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh my
Just really live
gosh.
up that fantasy of being Blanca after all this time. Maybe not as swole as him necessarily, but still, it's a step in the right direction.
Right.
Speak for yourself, Andy.
Okay, stop. All right.
Yeah,
we
they're,
all know, Noah, that you're just way
See,
cooler
these
than
are
all
like
of us.
crossovers that are like really well done. It's just
Yeah,
they're
cool.
always so expensive
So
too.
yeah, great. So they're also 3 finishers. You might have seen those sprinkled in through the.
Please tell me
gameplay.
they yeet them across the
Lightning
map.
Kick, spinning bird, Hadouken. I
What
can't do that.
are you doing over here, Dylan? Thank you.
Was
All right, there it
my
is.
attempt worse than the joke, or?
Significantly
We'll
better.
leave the comments.
Significantly better. Yeah.
God.
And then we got some emotes that we can show off too, which are a pretty good time.
Yeah, let's see here. We'll see what we can see here. If gameplay's on screen, anyway.
There we go.
There we go. Yes. All right. So we've got some emotes to show off as well. Let's start with the group emote here.
This one's
I love
Time to
head
fight.
man.
The health bars are so good.
And winner.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice the health bars.
God. And then we got a bonus round.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
Yeah.
Pulling out
It's not exactly a Honda Civic,
we
but
need money
it's
bads
just as much fun to go ahead and do that.
moments
Shout
with
out to every guardian
Eververse.
in
They're
the tower,
really going
1997
crazy with
Honda
it.
Civic Adept.
Like it-
I see you. I love you.
I
an
noticed
important role to
that.
play,
Like
honestly,
I called it out where it's like they've been in
this
like
is
you
gonna
know
be my new
obviously
Cloud
like
intro. I can already tell.
trouble
Honestly.
right now.
Then we actually have a segue
With
on screen
revenue
already
and
with the armor
players
that
and
has been
stuff.
adorned.
Yeah, well, let's go
That
ahead
led
and
them to
just
make
rotate
like
over there,
Eververse
with your
stuff
arrival
way
as well
better.
in this act. The Dawning
I think that's
is going to
their
be making its
response.
return as
It's
well
like-
on December 10th,
Which
I
is
believe.
cool stuff. Like
me
what
check
the
my
flip
notes.
is that?
Yes, December 10th. Yeah, 10 a.m. right at reset. We'll have the Dawning coming back.
the
wonderful
Dawning
theme for our armor
Dragons?
is going to be a celestial space dragon, which is really great. And then the team did a bunch of really good work on
looks so nice.
shader application. We've seen your feedback tons
yes.
of times on, hey, I want my shaders to look pretty on all the armor that I'm getting.
Yeah.
This knocks it out of the park, especially with that celestial star map in the wings. So
Yeah.
each class is going to get
Oh,
their dragon
shader's
on.
gonna
It's
look
gonna be a great
nuts
time.
on this.
These armor sets you can get for silver or bright dust. So if you've been doing all your Pathfinders, shout out to the team on the Pathfinder changes in the last episode launch.
Yeah,
Yeah, lots
actually
of
made a
bright
huge
dust.
difference.
So you can get these armors pretty quick. And then Dawning, yeah, we're going to have your favorite cookie baking activities coming back, going around to
Hooray.
all of your different vendors, giving them nice treats, giving some
Hooray.
raisins to Eris. That
Yeah.
kind
How
of stuff.
exciting.
There have been a couple of quality of life changes that I want to call out from the team.
Oh, great. What is it?
Here. Let's see. Dark Frosting. So it's not just going to be stasis anymore. Both of your darkness subclasses, stranded
Wow.
and stasis, are going to make that easier. And then for every guardian out there that's
And
been
we
saying,
also
hey,
decided to
this
actually add an
specific
activity
ingredient
that's
is not
unique
dropping for me,
to the dotting.
We're upping the drop rates for all those.
Uh,
So
no,
if
no,
you're using Void, trying
we're
to
not
get that,
doing that.
null taste or whatever,
And we are.
you'll start getting that a little bit more
Why?
frequently.
Why, man?
I never had an issue.
Stop it. Okay. Don't
Well,
do it.
yeah, you're the lucky one.
Yeah.
Built different.
Dev loop.
Classic Taylor. Geez. Yeah, the Dev loot. Yeah.
Dawning Engrams are coming back. We have Focusing. You can actually earn double perks as well. So if you're trying to get the new
nice.
linear fusion rifle with some spicy rolls, it's going to be nice to earn a pathway to a couple in the columns. But if we could get a preview.
Noise.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
Yeah. So Adaptive Burst, beautiful fusion rifle. There's already actually a pretty spicy roll on the screen right now. So on the left column, internally we call it Box Weaken.
Like box breathing.
What's the actual?
Withering Gaze.
Withering Gaze. So aim down
Yes.
sights for a bit, and then you
Left
can.
column specifically.
Oh, sorry,
is
left.
Really nice.
You can weaken your targets, and then in the right column, bait and switch. So amp up your damage, weaken your target.
That's
actually
very
gonna be a pretty
good.
spicy roll. Bystander 2 to get a bunch of your ammo back. But if you're actually worried about ammo, Envious Arsenal. It's one of the hottest perks of this season or of this episode. Sorry, this act.
You almost said season
Those are
2.
going to pair really well in this linear that's coming out.
Bait and switch has become the darling
swap
child of my
those.
heavy ammo slot, honestly. So I'm excited to see this. Also, I think we were talking earlier, after being such big fans of Stormcaller, seeing another adaptive burst
yeah.
linear fusion rifle
Yeah.
on the map was pretty
Storm
exciting, honestly.
Storm
Yeah, Storm
Chaser.
Chaser. Thank you, Storm Chaser. My mistake.
Yeah, shout
That was a
out.
test. You passed.
Storm-themed content in
Yeah.
that game. If you haven't noticed.
One of my buddies out in Midwest, he actually does some storm chasing
Like,
as a
these
hobby.
are
So he's like,
really nice. Like, I like the weapons and stuff with these events and stuff, but
yeah, and then outside of the
just like
the
my
new
issues with
weapon, there are gonna be
Festival
a
of
bunch
Lost,
reprised weapons
it's like
with new
we
roles.
need
So
to
your,
have like
fusion
a
rifle, pulse
mode
rifle,
that we're
blade
like
sword, and
so
machine gun.
hyped to play.
Big shout out to Lego LaFlash.
Listen,
he's
if you're
my
hyped
go-to
to play
content creator
Haunted
for
Lost
fusion
sectors that
rifle
haven't
rolls and,
changed
Glacioclasm.
at all, you know,
You may see it in
good
the
on
visual,
you. I'm
may
not,
shake your fist at it a couple times.
you know,
but there are
saying
gonna be
like
some
you're
more
not
rolls.
allowed to
After
enjoy it.
seeing you in that
But I'm just
Bungie
saying
Foundation
they could be
stream,
better.
just mopping the floor with people with fusions. I fully expect this to be added.
And Dawning
into
doesn't
your
even
full-on
have
games
Yeah,
level.
like
yeah,
a mode. It's
fusion
just
rifle, let's
get
go.
Nothing wrong with it.
treats.
You can't be friends anymore.
I mean,
Just
on
get
Glacioclasm, there's going
ingredients.
to be lone wolf closing time. So push out that range, tighten up that cone. It's going to be great.
Stop it right now. You're
probably
giving everyone
crazy.
ideas,
No,
Dylan.
but-
Okay?
Sorry, what was that?
It's tough enough to get to the lighthouse these days. You're giving everyone ideas, all right?
Oh,
yeah, I
great.
hope they
Yeah,
come in.
Glacioclasm
and
with
ruin my day. It makes for great
some of
clips.
these new perks.
I
Yeah.
mean, so strange coins are actually going to be added to the Dawning gifts as well.
Yeah.
So, like
nice.
with Festival of the Lost,
Can
you
we
can get
up
the,
those too?
exotic class
Like,
items with candy. And
you
that
know,
kind of stuff.
100 being
with Dawning,
max
you're going
is,
to get a higher drop rate of those
why?
strange coins from
Maybe
giving
at least
out
like
those gifts,
200,
and then you can
maybe
go to
300.
Xur, you can get your exotic class
Maybe
items
infinite.
or the Xurf board
Nah.
actually too.
Oh, nice.
I won't be too
So we-
greedy.
It's not necessarily a catch-up mechanic, but we know, hey, you might not be going into Strikes or Crucible and earning strange coins, so we're trying to spread the love. a
You
bit.
might not be wanting to
So
play the
we'll get what
modes
we
that we don't really
deserve.
update that much, and then we make it more painful
keep
to
sending
deal
you
with.
one of these,
So,
and
I know.
you know,
Really.
we'll give you
Thank
strange
Well, I'll
coins
tell
this
you
way.
what, I'll do you a solid, set you up for one. We have one more cool little thing actually. There's a new fashion set that's being added to
Yeah.
Act 2 as well. The players have been pretty excited about it. They may have caught wind of it.
Oh,
but,
my
can you
lord.
tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here, Dylan?
So, by the power of the moon, the team has done absolute
Oh
beautiful
my
work on some
gosh.
Doki Doki Destiny sets. We got your Warlock and your Titan there, showing off their fashion, pondering an orb, if you will. But yeah, I mean, this has been a set long time coming. We hope players enjoy throwing on some bows, some ribbons, and
Yeah.
just having a fun time in fashion. If you want to go super black and be gothic cutesy set, that's going to be
It's a great time for that, honestly.
right.
I don't
this is
lie,
available
those are
through
fun.
Silver.
This is going to be silver and bright dust.
And
so
bright dust,
again,
okay.
That's
if
nice,
you're-
too, that
if you're
they're
going in
both
doing your
silver and bright
Pathfinders, all
dust.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, it'll be available in the Eververse for bright dust or silver.
Gonna be a good
Live
time.
your best fashion life.
Right.
Can't-
Fashion is the true end game.
Destiny is gonna be really dialing
Let's
it up.
see. Any other notes? Oh, I do want to give a shout out.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, like at the top of the show, I was saying I'm an emissary of the team, but ultimately there are a ton of people that make cool content. Like we have Noah Taylor here right now, but big thank you to Mike Profeta, Joshua B, CJ Payne, Brad Fisher, Mercules, and Michelle on test as well for working on a bunch of these sandbox changes, a bunch of these Dawning goodies.
Yeah.
There are a ton of unsung heroes at Bungie, from IT to like the folks behind the stream and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a group effort, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Yeah. No, I mean it's nice. Let's make those thankless jobs ones that get a lot of thanks. Honestly, they deserve it for all the
I have a
hard
shout
work.
out.
Thank you.
Also. I want to
Please.
shout out
Same.
Keenan for everything you saw in Tomb of Elders and contest. Every arena, he had made it himself, and it is beautiful as we've seen.
Yeah, I
So wanna
love
shout
the
out
designs. Oh
Keenan
my
and
gosh,
Olivia.
thank
I
you.
already shouted her out earlier, but I'll just do it
I
again.
always like that
Yeah. Taylor,
in these
anyone you
like
got for you?
activities if like the
Vivian,
environments like
on the
look really nice and
score
play
weapons
nice too.
and that origin perk.
Yeah.
Matt Dowling for all his work on the release.
But yeah, this is.
And then Denny
Nice.
for something we might talk about.
So
a
I
bit.
saw that exotic
Interesting.
We'll get to
shotgun. Are we
that.
going to show
What
that
an
off?
interesting little tease that is.
Yeah, I mean, teams are stronger than heroes.
I
is
saw
one of
that on
Bungie
the
pillars, and it's like
that loadout.
in the game. This is where you see it in full force because everything is made by so many hands.
Yeah, honestly, that's something I always say is nothing ever happens here in a vacuum, right? Like it takes a lot of people to come together. This coalescence of technical and artistic skills, like really make a lot of cool stuff happen. So, we'll obviously make sure and give additional thanks at the end, but to our compatriots at Bungie that are here even now, working hard, continuing to build all the next chapters of Destiny, thank you all so much. We appreciate it.
Do I have any other notes?
Do you have any other notes?
I think. Oh yeah, last thing. We've had a lot of players asking about Iron Banner.
oh, right. Thank you.
Yeah, November 26th. So
Yeah.
the week after the act launches, we'll
Okay.
have Iron Banner coming back with a new armor set and a couple new weapons that a certain somebody might have
A couple
details
new
on.
weapons. Can you give us a tease? There was a sidearm. I remember we were
Yeah,
talking
I
about a
need
little bit
it.
earlier. Yeah.
Stasis, rocket sidearm with chill clip. I think some people have
Oh
already
my
found that,
gosh,
but
that
yeah,
sounds
that'll be
amazing.
available soon
I just like all those words,
to
honestly. on their
forever
own.
sit in that slot.
Yeah, I cannot wait, honestly.
Mine is just the most
Archon's
beautiful
Thunder,
thing I've ever-
baby. Get your machine gun on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's been a while. It just even the look of that one, honestly, I'm smitten by. But
Yeah.
that nice classic solar
Reese
machine gun is a lot of fun.
Yeah, but we'll have a ton of twids between now and end of December when we go dark. But we'll have a bunch of stuff on Iron Banner. Dawning, all the goodies in there. We have a bake-off event that's
Nice.
going to be going on in the game where you can earn some cosmetics and emblems.
Yeah.
And, we have a lot of good content in this act going through the end of the year.
Very
All right,
nice.
cool.
Excellent. Well, we also, as is the case with these streams, we're getting near the end of our agenda here for today. But as is the case typically, we're going to leave you with just one more thing as well.
What is it?
Now, as a quick heads up, the launch of Act 3, pardon me, is going
Yes.
to be on January 7th. So given that that's right after 2025 rolls around, many of us will be at home spending time with our families and loved ones, or if you're like me, sitting around just playing more Destiny.
Yes.
So as a result, we won't be actually having an Act 3 stream. So unmark those calendars for the
So
stream,
show
but
the
make sure you log
shotgun.
in that day. Because with the arrival of Act 3, shortly after the arrival or right when it launches, we'll defer that to a twit to make sure we get that date spot on. There's going to be a new exotic weapon quest
Yes.
arriving as well. And with it, a new exotic shotgun as well that we're going to actually take a look at here
Yes.
today. Now, the name of the quest, we're not going to
Oh,
spoil
there
for
it
you
is.
because it has some story implications. But
It looks so
Taylor,
nice too.
I'd love to put you on the spot real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is Slayer's Fang. It's a pretty unique slug shotgun.
But that's a slug?
It fires a single slug round.
Oh,
that
'cause
once
it's
it
hip firing.
impacts a target or
Maybe.
surface like environment. The slug shatters in a bunch of secondary projectiles. And then once you get a kill, you get True Sight for a short period of time, and
What?
then the shattered projectiles will weaken targets that they hit, and they get a bit smarter with their tracking.
Very nice.
It's also got a pretty unique reload
Yeah.
for a
You putting
shotgun.
a crystal in there?
No.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
like a small void crystal. Like I think the theme is like the projectiles are like hitting
Oh.
surface and they shatter into bits.
We went down as a squad of 9. We're turned into void
Yep.
crystals and are now in an exotic weapon.
Hey, I mean, we turn
Turn everything and everyone into weapons.
Wait, is
around
this
here.
still doing the bounce
guns,
thing with the?
bullets.
No, I don't think it is with
A
it.
worm.
Aim down.
But,
A very sassy worm
Yeah,
at that, but-
also fully reloads the gun with the reload.
I was gonna ask.
It's not shell by shell.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was in the whole
Ooh.
so it's the whole magazine up front, not necessarily. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be nice.
I can already I'm already mentally trying to build this into as many loadouts as I possibly
Gyro
can.
Falcons.
Your Falcon? Yeah.
Yeah, I.
Very
You're
curious
you're
if,
already there. I like
no
purple
backup plans,
explosions.
Titans might happen.
Well, they will now.
Well, we gotta wait
Yeah, also
until
benefits
January
from
though.
the shotgun changes to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
Honestly.
like reasonable range to use this.
Is it
Yeah.
craftable?
Yes, yeah. So like kind of the past couple
Oh, yeah,
quests have done with this,
craftable,
like
so
Wire 1,
what-
etc. Be a bunch of things to do in the activity, intrinsic levels to unlock, and a handful of catalysts that have some interesting interactions with how the gun works itself.
Very nice. All right, so the theory crafters in the audience are going to have plenty to sink their teeth into.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a few other maybe secret things to do.
Maybe secret things. All right, that's cool. Well, when
I like
they
maybe secret.
maybe secrets are maybe cool.
I like
Things for you to find
Yeah,
out.
we'll wait for the YouTubers to make their Pepe Sylvia wall of all the different secrets that exist in there at some point. But for now, that actually leads
All
us
right.
to the end of our series of events. My page of notes has gone ahead and concluded. So Today, we actually had a quick chance to go ahead and dive in and take a look, at a little bit of what's to arrive with Act 2 of episode Revenant. Huge thanks to Noah
like
for walking us through
content.
the Contest of Elders and the new
great.
Team of Elders. Much appreciated. Taylor, thank you a ton for walking us through some of the weapons that are going to be arriving, along with some other sandbox changes that are going to be going on.
This is
Absolutely.
it's
Love talking about
nice.
this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a great time. It's
like,
been even just
it
before
looks
the stream,
nice.
sitting in here, just going
Really
through it all.
does.
It's been so much fun. So thank you
I'll
all for
give my
joining us,
thoughts
and
in
of
just a
course
moment.
to Dylan for kind of walking us through a little bit of what's to come, including the stuff with the Dawning, the Street Fighter 6 partnership, the Doki Doki set that is no jokey jokey. Thank you, Dylan. We appreciate you taking the time.
No worries.
Had to get one more in.
Good. I'm sorry.
Never
All right.
be free.
I'm excited to go home and get some hot dogs from Garden of Salvation that this man worked on. So deep sights. So
Deep side.
To tomato to hot dog. It's all right. It works out well.
What is going on?
It's we're all going mad in here. No. So thank you again to all you fine folks in the audience for joining us. To our fire team behind the scenes, obviously, Ashley, Justin, and Peyton, as always, for doing the heavy lifting. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. To the incredible crew here in-house that has the distinct challenge of trying to make me look good, thank you all so much.
Hooray.
It's a joy to be a part of something like this. And then, of course, ultimately, from all of us in here to all of you out there, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate getting a chance to hang out with you and show off a little bit of what we've been working on. But in the meantime, make sure to go ahead and follow us at Destiny the Game on Twitter, Facebook, really your platform of choice. And otherwise, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Star Side.
Nice. All right, I'll just kind of like have some gameplay in the background. Yeah, so I like it. I think that I like how, because I was a little bit like curious on how they were gonna make this mode, the Tomb of Elders, because if it was just like Prison of Elders, I'd just be like, oh, it's just like another Horde mode, which we have Onslaught, and there's nothing wrong with having like more, obviously, but I like how they're taking the feedback of the deep dives and the coil. And I remember, if you remember my thoughts on those activities, I really enjoyed them. Deep dives, I enjoyed. There was like some things where it was just a little bit, but I liked the coil with the buffs that you could get. It doesn't look like they're doing that again here, which is a little bit disappointing. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I know that I get comments all the time of people being like, well, maybe if you didn't talk over the thing, they said it was on the screen and you were not looking. Yeah, I get it. But like that was one thing that I really did like with the build crafting on being difficult but fun. So like them saying like, oh, there's just bad modifiers with no good modifiers. I'm like, that sounds great for challenge, but here's the thing. You want fun as well. And the coil kind of had that with the again, like the buffs that you got. And you had to like pick and choose like, oh, well, I want this or I want that. So that was a nice little like added feature thing. So it's kind of disappointing that's not here, but that's kind of like you just being like, it's one thing. Like the overall activity being, it's what it is. It looks nice. Like it looks fun. I'll be curious if one thing that I will say is that the double perk thing, it is still a pain point with like Onslaught, like how rare they are. Heck, I don't know if they fixed it yet. It's been a while since I played, but did they ever fix the final chest on Wave 50 for Onslaught where like one person could open it and get all the loot and everyone else wouldn't get anything? Like that was awful. But yeah, and then the other thing is that because these are episodes, and it makes me really disappointed that they don't take the the extra just extra time to just make these like insanely good. That's why I'm curious about Frontiers on them doing the whole like 2 mini expansion things. Whatever, we'll see how that goes. But I've always said that it would be nice to just get like just 2 episodes, so then they can like really lock in on the content of those episodes and the loot. It would be nice to get like Hand of Judgment and stuff like that, like those old D1 Challenge of the Elders, Prison of Elders weapons in here as well, instead of just here's the episode weapons that were just drip feeding into the loot pool, which doesn't make it feel as exciting when doing the activity, realizing that most of the loot is what you've already been grinding for, just now there's a couple more. That's at least always like how I feel. Like it makes the activity lag behind because you're not like, well, there's so many things that I want to get in here. And that's kind of where I'm like, I'm hoping that there's like unique reasons on the loot, like double perks, maybe even triple perks, for a reason to like go crazy in this mode, which would be nice. But yeah, overall that it's nice. It's just that there's like a lot of more of like just like the foundation of episodes that I have issues with when it comes to the stuff that they're doing. But the activity looks good. I gotta say, and I called this out when my Festival Lost thoughts, and I get it. There's a lot of people saying it's a free event. It's not really free, fellas. It's really not. Like, yes, it is, but you know that it's funding itself with the Eververse stuff, which is nice. But it's like the fact that they didn't even add one lost sector like to the rotation or change them up to different lost sectors really disappoints me. And then this is what makes it worse. They're locking in with Eververse stuff hard. I wish that they would have done that opposite, where it's like, yes, they still have the Eververse stuff with the events, but they instead lock in to make these events better. Like, imagine they make a twin and they go the events overhaul, and they go in huge depth on all these events that we've had that are going to get a huge revamp on their activities or if they don't have an activity, they will have one where it's actually like something that we're so excited to play. I mentioned like, Festival Lost with the haunted house thing. Dawning could be like a snow globe onslaught thing. Like, it doesn't even have to be like completely different. It could just be Onslaught, but just with like a funny theme. It's no different than Call of Duty putting Christmas lights on freaking Nuketown. Like, it's just like you just make a unique map that is fun to the theme of whatever it is, and they could do the same. Bring back Crimson Days and have a love themed like Onslaught map. Just Onslaught everything. I sound like that, but yeah, I'll probably like go into depth with that in a different video. But that's just pretty much like just what I'm basically gonna be talking about if I do make a video just talking about like events. But it's time to talk about them again because yeah, like the fact that they're locking in and they have so much Eververse armor sets. Like it's insane how many there is. And I believe there was another data mine one, and it might be probably like Act 3, that is also another like 3 classes set. And I think it was like a Strand one. I think you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that looked cool. I don't know if that was real or not, or if like every character gets something different, but I think that it was like a Strand thing, I think. Awesome. But again, it's which is nice. I'm happy that they have cool drip, but it's just disappointing that like you see why they're doing it. It's like, oh man, money, we got to get that. So it's lock in on that, and I just wish that they would lock in on the free events as well on like the activities, because yes, you can have cool stuff for people to buy, but you got to get people to like want to get on. And I've noticed that from a lot of people just don't get on enough. Like there's nothing that's really pulling them to get on Destiny, and you need that for them to look at the store in the first place. So I don't know. That's just me. But I mean, for like, I've been taking a break from Destiny a lot lately. But I do enjoy the gameplay, and I have been coming back for like the new content. So like with this, I'm excited to play this. Is it enough for me to be like, oh man, I'm back on Destiny forever, and I will never play any other game ever again? No, obviously. It's just really nice that we have this. It looks really fun. I'm not trying to just be, oh man, negative. I actually genuinely like this. I look forward to playing this. This is actually looking fun. it's just nice to have another like coil thing come back. It's just really sad that this goes away. Like that's the other thing that they need to stop. Like it's like they're trying to be like Fortnite, but they can't be Fortnite. Like the whole make content and change it all the time, where like things go away and come back or whatever, or in this case not come back. Like they work so hard to make this stuff, and it goes away the next year. Like the coil and the deep dives. Like it's just why not like make the things that you are doing for these episodes be stuff that stays and enhance them. I don't know. Like that's why I've never really been super big on seasons, and now I'm still also like on episodes, because it's a little bit more than a season, I won't lie, a little bit more, but it's not that greatly different. Like it's pretty much the same. Like seasons, we would get like an activity and then another activity and maybe an exotic mission. So it's like, it's kind of the same. And Onslaught, the thing that we got for Act 1 wasn't really like a full-on brand new activity, but it's still better than Battleground stuff. Obviously, I love Onslaught, but it's kind of sad that they also didn't like go, oh yeah, we're going to add more Onslaught maps for Onslaught, like to keep the that going or whatever. And yeah, it's just the issue is that a lot of the foundation stuff in Destiny needs to get more focus, as well as it's just that there's so much that they need to do. And I don't know. It's just I know that a lot of you are like, I'm not really playing a lot of Destiny. I know there's some of you that are. And you know, I'm still coming back to Destiny and playing it and stuff. I just been really focused on other stuff as well, because I don't want to just be like, you know, grumpy, Destiny grumpy. Like, but I do like to make videos to just give my thoughts and feedback on things. And I obviously have to play the game to give really much feedback on this. So I just hope that when we play this, it maybe evolves as weeks go. And there's like a lot of stuff. I don't want it to be like, oh, there's only like 6 rooms, like in the end or whatever like that. Like but as of right now, what I'm seeing, I'm just liking how each room has like a different vibe depending on the enemies and whatever, or like the bosses. That's cool. I like it. And having all those different objectives and stuff and the loot and whatever. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm excited. I'm a little bit, because I like Prison of Elders. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Like I said, I'll probably make a video like giving my thoughts on other things. Maybe I'll just give my overall thoughts on Act 1 since it's ending as well. I could do that. But when it comes to Act 2, I will be there. Next week, right? I believe. Yeah, let's do it. I'll be streaming it. It'll be great. And we'll be having so much fun. And it would be great. And also, that person using Anarchy in the video was totally a tease that we're going to get a Catalyst at some point, and Scourge of the Past will be returning. Yeah, totally. I'll actually be shocked if it actually happens. But anyways, hope you have a chibi-tastic day, night, evening, wherever you are. I'll see you in the next video. Chibi out.